This is Byron Lazine and Nicole White, and you are tuned into episode 196 of The Real Word.
Word is up.
It's a redemption episode, Nicole. Total redemption.
Well, you mean for you?
Yeah. Well, for both of us, you were part of this scandal.
Yes. I don't know that I would use the word redemption because I mean.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Big
Okay.
redemption. I'm feeling redemption here.
You feel great?
I
like
feel
you were
great
solidified
about it. I'm
and
hoping
confirmed.
I'm hoping that we get, how many dislikes did we get on that video? How many dislikes on the we are rehashing the appraisal drama. If you don't know about the appraisal drama, you got to go back to these two previous episodes. I'll find out right now which episodes they were.
I'm surprised you don't have them memorized because I think it was one of your most favorite weeks of your life. 2 weeks of your life.
It was an iconic moment in real word history. I mean, going all the way back to there was no controversy like it, except if we go back to episode 1. Literally episode 1. All right, when was the appraisal? Bobby, maybe you could pull that up while we're doing this show. And
I mean, it had to have been in what, May, June?
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I saw. Who's our buddy that came on the show?
We've had so many buddies on the show.
No, for the appraiser.
Oh, from was that the guy that was down in? That wasn't the Texas guy, was it?
He came. He was at Summit.
Oh, fun! Did you talk to him?
I saw him in Dallas. Yeah, I talked to him briefly. I was going on that panel with my flannel. The panel with my flannel.
Oh God, is that why you did that? Then you wore the flannel on the show. That
you made fun of me on. And,
well, it's all that I could see in all of those videos on your panel is that flannel.
I couldn't chat with him as long as I wanted to. But anyways, we're
right there,
going
Agents
back.
First Appraisers, right there, June 17th.
What episode number, Bobby?
Oh, this is round 2.
Come on. 178. I saw a while ago, so about 20 episodes ago. Episode 178, and then we do the interview on episode 179. What's his name, Bobby? I can't remember his name. Warren. Yes, Warren. So go check out those 2 episodes for a little bit of context here. So the first Racket is going to be all about a big shift in the appraisal industry, game-changing shift. Racket number 2, we're talking about second homes, and then we have a super Halloween spooky Marketeer. Halloween
cliche.
Style. Very cliche. We're being timely with our Marketeer.
We are being very timely. You don't even like holidays, so I'm surprised we're even making this a thing.
That's all right. Bobby picked it. All right. Racket number 1, ladies and gentlemen, the FHFA is making desktop appraisals permanent in perpetuity, forever.
A permanent option, yes.
A permanent option for banks to use. Okay, so what does that mean? What is a desktop appraisal, Nicole? Before I do a touchdown dance,
why don't you just do your touchdown dance? Everyone knows what a desktop appraisal is. The appraiser is no longer needing to go physically out to a home. They are literally sitting at their desktop, looking through the photos that the agent probably took.
Wow.
And coming up with an appraisal.
Interesting. And so.
Ooh, look! I think I'm rubbing off on you.
Yeah. I was using the Nicole little. All right. So I mean, I don't want to be that hard on appraisers. I mean, I'm obviously going to spike the football in their faces, but they also gave me in episode 178. How many dislikes did they give me, Bobby? Like 50 dislikes. So Warren had posted this. Yeah, something like that. It was a lot of most dislikes.
You loved it.
Put the thumbs up on this episode. Let's see if we can compete with all the dislikes we got in 178.
Oh, come on. You know people like to complain more than they like to say things nice.
I want to see the thumbs up in this episode. But basically, Warren, who's an appraiser and a real estate agent, posted this to a private appraisal Facebook group.
Right.
And so they kind of went viral in that Facebook group, so to speak. And that's where we got all those dislikes from. They were all from appraisals. But, you know, I made some statements in that previous video that, you know, I believe the appraisal industry is ripe for the picking, ripe for some serious change. We have enough technology available to these appraisers where they don't necessarily need to go to the homes. And I got a lot of crap for that. Like, don't need to go to the homes. You know, this is the only way to do it. We have to take our measurements, you know, this and that. There's a comment in the there's a Realtor Mag article that we can link up. There's also a Housing Wire article on this, but Carol in the Realtor Mag comment section said, "This is tragic. Who will notice the peeling paint, rotting wood, frayed electrical lines, no railings, no extension pipe on the water heater?" I don't know, Carol. Maybe the inspector will notice some of that stuff. Maybe the agent isn't Stevie Wonder and they'll put an eyeball on it and actually educate their buyer before they even make an offer. Why would you be waiting for the appraisal to notice peeling paint and rotting wood? You typically would have your inspection before the appraisal. Like, I'm not getting an inspector that can't figure this stuff out, right? And I'm certainly, as a buyer and a great buyer's agent, not going to put eyeballs on the situation myself when I'm physically at the property looking at it before I decide whether there's going to be an offer. So there's that, right? But you're going to have a lot of opinions like Carol. And I know appraisers, fill up the comment section. Go ahead, do it now. Just stay away from the dislike button. Just throw me a like. Just throw me go back and watch that Warren episode. We really made the piece there. But I know I'm going to have a lot of appraisers in the comment section like, this is going to fail. We're going backwards. We're 2006, 7 all over again. Mm-hmm. Banks Nicole, you talked to a lender in our office today. Yeah, I did talk to a lender.
Yeah, I mean, he's in here today. I asked him if he had seen the piece. He said that he didn't, but he did, make sure that we sort of specified that this is Fannie and Freddie and that the banks don't have to allow it. So this is Fannie and Freddie allowing these desktop appraisals to happen, but it doesn't mean that the banks are actually going to be using them.
Great clarification there. Fannie and Freddie, which are basically all the loans, right?
Right.
They're the ones allowing this. But to your point, maybe, Loan Depot will say no, for example.
Or Bank of America or whoever.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so
yep.
This was announced to a eruption of applause at the Mortgage Bankers Association annual convention and expo in San Diego.
Well, that's because these bank originators are probably getting squeezed on not even squeezed, but pressured on every end, because in most situations right now, appraisals are what are holding up the loan process. There's not enough appraisers. They're taking forever. So that's probably why they're so excited, because now the process won't take nearly as long.
The trade association's first large-scale in-person event since 2019, 3,500 in attendance, and they erupted in elation, Nicole, from the news. Okay, so who announced it? This was Sandra Thompson, acting director of the FHFA, Federal Housing Finance Agency, and she said that frictions in the appraisal process can slow the mortgage process down, a problem that is happening obviously right now with people want their appraisals, more deals happening. Allowing desktop appraisals was one of the things that they did during 2020. Now it's going permanent. This can help each appraiser. See, appraisers, this is helping you, not hurting you. Complete more loans in a day. It can also help rural communities more readily obtain a necessary appraisal when the buyer or the borrower is purchasing a property. A lot of these mortgage companies right now, the new mortgage companies that would be seen as disruptors in the mortgage industry, They say the number one problem, like Tomo. I talked to Greg Schwartz, who just founded Tomo, and their headquarters out of Stamford, Connecticut. Little fun fact for you. Greg says that it's the biggest obstacle to, they want to guarantee closing dates.
Right.
It's the biggest obstacle is the appraisal process.
Right. Mortgage.
I mean, I know why they cheer. To your point, it's like they've been dealing with this antiquated appraisal industry for years. I know I said it, antiquated. I'm going to get so much hate comments for that.
You've said a lot worse in this podcast already. So
really?
I mean,
what do you think?
Yep.
What when I was talking about the Halloween?
No.
Huh.
No.
I've already said worse.
Well, anyway, keep going.
Here,
go with your antiquated.
The point is, this industry is going to be disrupted. And I said this in the past, like the real estate agents are being disrupted right now, right? The agents that don't evolve, don't innovate, don't add value to their local community are going to get squashed. The ones that maybe aren't joining a team, going to get squashed, right? But same thing for appraisers that don't adapt with the times. I just don't believe that every appraisal needs to be done at the home, right? Like, for example, my community in Florida, there are 600 something homes in that community, or 400 something homes rather. But there are communities that are thousands of homes.
Of course.
And they're all basically the same.
Right.
And like, the houses are, like, I don't know, like this far apart. They're like feet apart. They're very close to each other. The floor plans are the same. What do you need to walk through? The appraiser, when they walk through those homes, they're there for about 3.5 minutes. Like if you offer them a bottle of water, maybe 5, but they're not there very long. Yeah. They can do those online. So I think this is a great step forward on moving. We need to move the process along quicker. We need to become more 2022 when we think about how we're doing real estate, how we're doing the transaction. This is in line with that. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for the comments from the appraisers. And I'm also excited for that Gronk style TD spike that I just put on every single one of you. I'm not going to do the Mike Evans. Mike Evans caught a Tom Brady 600th touchdown pass this weekend.
Yeah.
Did you see that? And he gave the ball to the fan.
Oh, but then he asked for it back.
No. Yeah. So somebody from Tampa Bay.
For it back? They asked for it back.
A Tampa Bay employee goes.
I'd be like, hello, buy me a house, buy me like a year, like I want tickets.
I'd say no.
I want to meet your wife, like anything.
Their offer was, here's another game ball, not the one that's actually worth something, but here's another game ball. And oh, by the way, we're going to give you something signed by Tommy Terrific. I'd be like, no, I'm good. And you start negotiating. Like my wife just turned her lease back in, and she goes there and they're like, hey, we'll give you $500 to buy your lease from you, because so like the dealerships can buy the lease.
Hopefully she negotiated, because there's a lot of companies out there now that are willing to give like tens of thousands of dollars to get a car back.
She wasn't gonna get tens of thousands. The car's barely tens of thousands. But she calls me and she goes, oh my gosh, what great news, I got $500. I'm like, well, how'd that happen? I said, no, that's called bad news. You say no, I don't need the $500. Just take my car back, because then it would have went $1,000, $1,500 to that. You probably would have gotten $2,000 out of that. Negotiate a little
bit. Yeah, they need cars. Definitely need cars. But yeah, no,
of course.
It's funny. I was listening to the radio on Monday, and they had a bunch of callers call in and say what they would negotiate. Like, would it be like a dinner? Would it be a meal? Someone said a house. Like they would want a house. So
for the football. Yeah, yes. I want a luxury box twice next year. I want to meet Tom. I want a signed jersey.
Yeah.
And the top 10 steakhouses in Tampa, I want to eat at all of them. Top 10 steakhouses. Or
I'm just going to keep the ball. Like, just keep the ball.
Keep the ball on auction is going to be worth so much more than all the stuff I just rattled off.
And the guy just gave it back.
Yeah, I just gave it back. All right. And so
he should have had representation.
Should have had representation and should have been willing to innovate, which is what's happening here with the appraisal industry. That's racket number 1. Totally not a racket. I think it's a great move by the Federal Housing Finance Agency, Freddie and Fannie as well, making a move to make appraisals great again. All right, racket number 2. Nicole. Nicole, you didn't say much there. You're looking to deflect all the hate towards me.
You're on a roll. I'm not deflecting a thing. You are welcoming it. Your hands are flailing. Yeah. You were ready to go today. You were ready.
All right. You picked this one. Inman article, Second Home Market Trends, What Agents Need to Know. We're going to actually discuss more the link out article in this. This was a paid spot. So this is a sponsored post on Inman by Pacaso. Mm-hmm. We're going to link out to the Pacaso, and we'll link that up. Their market reports, Pacaso's second home market report. And what they're saying is transactions have slowed on the second home market, but prices have soared. Pacaso, started by Spencer Raskoff, is basically a company rather, where you can tap into your equity to go get these second homes, right, or to go get another home. So, and I don't know if I actually explain them right. So I want to make sure I do that while you explain what's going on here in this study.
What the hell? What's going on?
Go ahead and explain. You picked the topic here. Explain what's going on.
Well, that's because you're obsessed with graphs. So this one goes over the graph. So anyway, what do you want me to go over? The takeaways? Come on, this is your thing. This is like your numbers.
I'll go over the graph. I apologize. I'll go over the graph in
your money talk here.
So I think I did explain it right. So Pacaso's thing is they're a modern way to buy and own a second home. Essentially what they do is they tap into your equity and help you get a second home. And so they'll also come in as ownership if you're doing some type of Airbnb. We create a property LLC for each home. So they create an LLC for each home, find and vet co-owners. So you can basically selling shares of your second home, tapping into that equity. And the co-owners enjoy 100% ownership of the home. Pacaso does not retain any shares. All right. So I just wanted to clear that up on what Pacaso does. So here's the key takeaways on these second home market trends. If you're in a second home market as an agent, you want to know these. National second home rate locks soared during the pandemic, more than doubling their level from a year earlier, peaking at over 103% year-over-year growth as of fall 2020, but fell 26.6% year-over-year this summer. Nicole, during the pandemic on the Connecticut shoreline, did we not see a huge
100%
pop in second homeowners?
Huge pop. Yep. It was enormous. I mean, 100%. Most of the people buying anywhere along the shore, it was a second home. I do think actually in some situations it ended up becoming even their primary home. But yes, I mean, the second home market was huge during the pandemic for sure.
Second home mortgage rate locks continue to account for a higher share of the total market than they did before the pandemic. So we saw last week, there was an article on CNBC, you can look it up, where the interest rate went from 3.18 to 3.23. And you actually saw mortgage applicants drop 6% in that week. As this second home market continues to cool, you could see and interest rates potentially continue to rise. You could see that mortgage interest, not interest, but applicants continue to drop. 49 of the 50 top destinations saw double-digit price growth in the summer months. Hawaii, county in Hawaii saw the greatest appreciation. All right, let's put up the chart. Share of second home mortgage rate locks. So you see that in about 2020, share of the second home mortgage rate locks.
Fall? It looks like the fall was pretty busy.
Yeah, that is I think it's a little hard to tell where that bottoming out was, but it was winter of 19, and then it starts to rise in going into the spring of 20 when the pandemic happened. Yeah. Yep. And then obviously to your point, the fall is when it just accelerated in 2020 and peaked out for sure. That was the peak. Now we've dropped down some, but we're still 4.3% the share of mortgage rate locks, which anything over 4% is like, that didn't happen from any point from 2013 all the way until the end of 2019.
How interesting, though, that it literally, the winter, though, before the pandemic, it dropped significantly. I wonder what was driving that. Maybe like because I do think that, obviously, well, I don't even want to speculate, but it is very interesting to see how much it dropped, though, right before the pandemic even hit. Right?
Yeah, there was a sharp drop. You're right about
19.
that.
Yeah,
you're right.
Huh. Very interesting. Anyway,
not huge, but
well, something special here.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
special.
I mean, it was slowly increasing, and then all of a sudden, it was.
Yeah.
I mean, death happened for sure to that.
Yeah.
But unless everybody just halted. I mean, that first quarter, it could have just been a huge halt.
It wasn't interest rates, because that was 2018 where we saw late in 2018 where we saw that increase, and it didn't look like interest rates impacted second homes at all.
No, but but what is interesting here is is that where the market was headed if there wasn't a pandemic too?
Right, for second homes. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Interesting. All right, so transaction volume decreasing on these second homes, but home prices are still up across these 50 markets. Check out a very well done market report by Pacaso, again, started by Spencer Raskoff, former CEO of Zillow. I like the idea of divvying up shares on a second home for investors to come in, especially if you're doing an Airbnb or something like that. Good little model they have. We'll see where it goes with that company.
I'm obsessed with the photo here on the header.
Oh, you like the
see
photo?
That? Oh my! Yeah. Do you see that house?
Oh, that's pretty sick.
Look at that. Is that real grass?
Is that a real house?
It's a real house. I said real grass.
No,
it's like with the grass.
I'd say that.
I think that's rolled out grass. That looks like some sod out there.
It looks like turf because it looks like a desert terrain.
I don't know. It looks amazing.
Well, not maybe too desert.
Look at there's a grass up there on the patio on the second floor. I mean, there's just so beautiful. I love it. I think it's real grass.
Bobby, our producer, thinks it's real grass. Wait. Great, Bobby. Now I'm a believer. It's real grass.
I think it's real grass. I think it's beautiful. Look at it. Anyway.
All right. Totally not a racket, or is it a racket? Not a racket.
The second homes?
Yeah.
No, I think it's important to watch. It's interesting because I did see on Inman too, and I think you actually did a video about it a minute before we hopped on here about Sirhan and his prediction with the luxury market.
Yeah.
So again, I think people should be looking at that too, because I do think that there may be some changes, especially anyway, all worth looking at. I don't think it's a racket at all.
He's calling for a downturn in the luxury market, predicting, saying that could happen. You could check out my whole video on my YouTube channel if you'd like.
I was trying to throw you a softball because you had got your Byron Lazine thing behind you,
Make sure you're subscribed to The Real Word first before you head over to the Byron Lazine YouTube channel. All right, Marketeer of the Week, New York Post back-to-back weeks because we did. Hey, Ferrigio.
Yes.
He commented on my Instagram.
Did he? Well, so I started following him, and then I saw the broke agent and our other buddy. Why am I blanking on his name?
Matt.
Thank you. They did a podcast with him.
They have done a podcast with him. They said he's awesome dude, is what they said.
I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, the whole thing was. And Inman did an article saying that they, he was stripped of his job.
Yeah.
The whole thing was, I loved it. Last week was fun for me. I thought the whole thing was funny.
So he gave what are these two little hands mean on?
That's like a high five, like a
two of them. I always think it's like a like hey pray, little pray, whatever. Anyways, I
think it's like a woo woo.
He puts the little two hands emoji. I comment right back. I said, podcast, ? Maybe I should have DM'd him and tried we got to get him on. I'd like to get him on.
Do you know how many people are probably approaching him? He's probably now charging, He's smart. See, he's negotiating for his football.
Well, he didn't even write back. So I mean, that's a form of negotiation too. But all right. So 2 weeks in a row, New York Post. This one is Inside the Nightmare on Elm Street house. You have until Halloween to buy it. That's why this agent is the Marketeer of the Week. Okay, so it's a Douglas Elliman listing. Real estate agent Lurka Bosnak holds the listing with Heather T. Roy. They basically set up the listing, and we got to show. Just flip through the photos here, Bobby. The house is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
The photos that they did were amazing. But they gave all the buyers until midnight on Halloween, October 31st, to make their offer. So really unique way of setting a deadline for offers on this property. It was purchased for $2.1 million. They have it listed for $3.25 million.
Mm-hmm.
It was purchased back in 2013, and the it wasn't owned by the filmmaker, I don't believe. No. It was built in 1919. Exterior still resembles how the home looked in the film.
Have you seen the movie?
I'm sure I haven't. I don't know. Maybe I have. I'm pretty lame.
I know you're lame. That's why I asked. I just wanted everyone to know how lame you were. I don't know that I've seen it either. I'm not a scary movie gal, though. Like, I'm the one that, I can't then go to the bathroom afterwards because all of a sudden he's coming out of my toilet,
So the house they filmed is in L.A.,
mm-hmm.
not on 1428 Elm Street in Ohio, which is where the movie takes place. So I don't know. I thought the property was pretty cool looking property. It'll definitely sell. I love the angle of just playing into the whole movie.
Well, you gotta. Tis the season, you know.
This house looks. It's not like the one where they're doing the Airbnb model.
This is not a scary house.
No, this
where
is
there's
a beautiful
people
house.
that have been murdered in it, and it still is haunted. This isn't a haunted home.
When we talked about The Conjuring, I'm like, you could NFT that. You could make it an event space, which is basically what they're doing, the event space. This is going to be something that I believe somebody lives in.
I imagine. It looks like a beautiful home. But
yeah, very nice house. All right.
Anyway, you have your costume for this weekend.
So, fun fact about that is my daughter. No, I don't.
Oh.
My daughter wanted me to dress up as Maui from Moana. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Like belly out, like skirt.
Well, I guess there's this whole like I guess it's like a pajama jumpsuit type of thing.
Oh my God, this is getting better. Keep going. And what did you say?
Well, once I found out about that, I said, absolutely not.
You'd rather go shirtless with like a skirt.
I said, get me a Moana Maui t-shirt, a Disney t-shirt. They gotta have Disney t-shirts. Get me a t-shirt. I'll throw a t-shirt on.
And
nothing. I got nothing.
No t-shirt.
I have nothing at all. I don't think my wife was too happy that I wasn't willing to dress up like, the Easter Bunny on Halloween or Maui or whatever. I'm not wearing a full costume of anything ever in my life. She's 5. Right. She'll get over it.
No, we'll see what happens on Sunday.
She's 4, actually.
Let her throw a good enough tantrum, and you'll probably do anything on that day.
Is it this Sunday?
It is. Yeah.
Well, my wife is supposed to be like...
You're going to miss it. Usually you come to our house for Halloween. I'm going to set up, because it's Sunday, I'm going to actually set up on my front lawn like a TV and like get the couch out there. Because, you got to keep watching football and hand out the candy. I give out probably 1,500 pieces of candy. So
you give out a lot of candy.
Lots of candy.
They're doing a block party in the community that we're in down here.
I'm sure it's lovely. You're in a neighborhood.
It'll be 85 degrees. They'll have a bounce house. They'll have a DJ. They'll do it all.
See, we're going to be stomping over wet leaves and freezing our tails off.
Good luck with that nor'easter.
Yeah, it's happening right now.
Oh, it's happening. All right.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's right now.
I'll see you next week when it's over. Hope everybody enjoyed this episode of The Real Word. Please, if you would, consider subscribing, share this content with another real estate professional who can benefit from it. We'll see you here next week.
See you guys.
Keep it real.